My name is Johnny and I'm from England and I've been living in Russia for 8 years now. My email address is in the description of all of my videos and I get lots of questions from people thinking about visiting Russia or moving to Russia. And last week I got an email from one of my viewers asking me the question, aren't you scared to film in public? Won't people hear your accent and think you're from an enemy country? And honestly, it made me laugh a bit. Not because it's a silly question, but because I totally get actually where this comes from. The image of Russia abroad, especially in 2022, is intense. You see the headlines, the politics, the tensions, and you think the moment you land in Moscow and open your mouth, you speak English, someone's gonna side-eye you, or even worse. So I'm currently filming this video in the Taganka area of central Moscow. And what I really like about this part of the city is that there's such a contrast of housing. So you see this big block behind me, this is very distinctively Russian. And if I just flip around a second, the building I'm facing is this huge, big Soviet grand building with the arch. I assume it's a Stalin era building. This is very Stalinist style architecture. And there's, like even here behind me now, another building. They're all totally different. It's a very interesting part of the city. Also in this courtyard, there's a playground. I'm not going to show you properly because it's full with kids. School's just finished. But it's all designed like the Kremlin. See if you can spot it in this video. So let's talk about it while we're in front of this amazing Stalin era building. Is it dangerous to speak English in public in Moscow? What's it actually like walking around this city as a foreigner speaking your native language? So let's start with the common fears people have, the ones I get the questions about the most. And the biggest one is, will the police target you if they hear you speaking English? Are they going to assume you're a spy or some kind of threat to the country? And then there's the idea that regular people on the street might, I don't know, get aggressive. Someone overhears your conversation in a cafe and suddenly they've got a problem with you. Or maybe you just feel like the spotlight's on you all of the time, like everyone knows you're foreign and you can never quite blend in. I understand these fears, I really do. But the truth is that's not my reality here. I've been living in Moscow for years. I speak English in public all the time, every day, on the metro, in restaurants, walking down the street with my fellow English friends or my English-speaking Russian friends. And it's never been a problem, and I mean never ever. People sometimes overhear me, sure, especially in cafes, where you're like close to other tables, and I've seen people, tilt their head, glance over, have a listen, but it's more out of curiosity than anything else. Most of the time, people they don't care at all. And if someone does approach me because they've overheard me speaking English, it's almost always friendly. Normally they want to practice their English, or they're just curious about what I'm doing here. They'll ask where I'm from, what I think of Moscow, why I chose to live here. And the moment I switch to Russian with them, which I try to do out of respect, they're thrilled. Suddenly it's a conversation about Russian culture, Russian language, Russian life. There's genuine interest and genuine warmth. It's great. And the positivity isn't because people think I'm actually a Russian who can just speak fluent English. Absolutely nobody is ever mistaking me for a Russian. And while I can pass by as Russian, like appearance-wise, the moment I speak, it becomes clear that I'm foreign. But that hasn't led to any negative reactions at all. Quite the opposite, actually. Russians are often excited to meet people from abroad, especially those who are not just visiting, but they chose to live here. Here's another one of those really amazing Stalin era buildings here in the Taganka area, and they really tower over these older, smaller buildings, the sort of pre-revolutionary buildings, and they really stand out in contrast to the more modern, mass-produced, mass-made, later Soviet era tower blocks. So that said, I do actually sometimes avoid speaking English. Mainly it's when I'm walking outside past a police officer, or I'm somewhere where I really don't want to risk a passport check. Not because I think something bad will happen, but because I really can't be bothered with all that hassle. You have to carry a passport, which has got your visa, then you need to have your registration with you. And look, it's all fine. My documents are all perfectly fine. They're all perfectly in check. I stay on top of them. But, you know, it just takes time that I don't want to have to spend stood there waiting while the policeman checks my documents. So I'd rather just walk on and stay quiet or speak Russian. There's also the tourist factor. Sometimes I do avoid speaking English to avoid looking like a gullible foreign tourist. You know, in certain places, if you speak English, people might assume you're a visitor and treat you a little bit differently. And I don't mean a hostile way, but they might be overly polite or formal. Or actually, in the old days, if you speak to people here, who were living here in the 1990s or early 2000s, they might have tried to rip you off. I mean, that doesn't really happen anymore. Moscow has changed a lot. The city's obviously a lot wealthier now. And also with everything being so digital, like ordering taxis through apps and paying in cafes or shopping just all on your phone or with a card, you don't have to talk to anyone. It's all like sort of seamless. But if you do have to speak, if you speak Russian, even just a little, you just feel a lot better about it. And also you just feel more part of the city, like less of an outsider. So that's sometimes why I do decide to speak Russian instead of English. So this building up ahead here is one of the classic Stalinist high-rises. There's 7 of them in Moscow. This one is actually a residential building. You can buy apartments in here. It's very, very expensive. It's a very desirable place to live. If you check online, they're going for millions, which is very expensive for Moscow real estate. Okay, and what about the police then? What if they actually did stop me? So there's always the option to play the dumb foreigner. Sorry, I don't understand, no Russian, that kind of thing. And that's actually a very easy way to de-escalate anything, not just with the police. Because in some situations, speaking English actually helps you rather than speaking Russian. You get the sort of benefit of the doubt. You're the guest to the country, and Russians are really the most hospitable people you've ever met. And that does actually in many ways include people in positions of power. They're not going to be assholes to you for no reason. So that's one option. Although then again, you can just speak Russian and stand there and wait for how long it takes to do the checks. It's up to you. So let's talk about the big picture then. Moscow is a big international city. People here speak all kinds of languages, Central Asian languages, Caucasian languages, Chinese, Arabic, you name it, you hear them on the streets daily. So English doesn't stick out in a way that people might think if they've not been here before. And Russians, for the most part, are not hostile to Westerners at all. They might have strong opinions about, let's say, Western governments, but they still love Western culture, brands, traveling to the West, Western people. If you walk down the street in Moscow speaking English, no one's going to attack you or throw something at you. If anything, they'll just offer you a drink, offer you food in some directions. It's completely different to what people might think. And naturally now that tensions between Russia and the West are so high, people are actually more curious, they're actually more friendly when they meet a Westerner who's still here or has come here. It's like, wow, you're still in Russia, what's that like? There's a sense of curiosity and a desire to connect with you, just like way beyond politics. This is someone who decided to live here during these times. So is it dangerous to speak English in Moscow? No, not at all. You're way more likely to get a free Russian lesson than a dirty look. It's just that's just normality here. And look, people are busy. They're getting on with their day. They're getting on with their lives. They don't care. And if they do notice you, they just want to talk, maybe make a friend, or just have that interesting experience of speaking to someone from a different culture. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like more content, early access to my videos, or simply want to support my work, please consider joining as a member here on YouTube. There's an early access video waiting for you right now. Plus, if you join at the higher membership tier, I'll personally thank you by reading your name out loud in every single one of my videos. If you prefer Patreon, that's an alternative for those who like that platform, or for viewers in countries where YouTube memberships aren't available. The perks there are exactly the same as YouTube, just on a different platform. No need to sign up for both, just choose whichever works best for you. For those who just want to make a one-time donation with no monthly commitment, you can support me too through my Buy Me a Coffee link. That link is in the description to this video, and any support is greatly appreciated. If you're in Russia or you're unable to use Western bank cards, I also have a Boosty account. There you'll get the same extra content and early access as on YouTube and Patreon, but with the option to pay in rubles. The Boosty link is in the description to this video. Thank you very much.